Hello YouTube, I'm Rick Stivers. I'd like to welcome you to Young Martin's Reels. Today's project is going to be this Daiwa A-130RL, and this was a gift to me. My mentor, Dennis Kuntz over at Second Chance Tackle, I had contacted him. He showed me this reel on his YouTube channel and talked about it having a defective anti-reverse, and I was hoping that this would be the style that has the melted claw and that I would be able to show that. So I asked Dennis about purchasing the reel, and he gifted it to me. So I'm going to give Dennis a quick plug here. Anybody who needs to have a reel repair, Dennis is absolutely fantastic for that. I've learned most everything I know about reel repair from Dennis Kuntz. So Dennis, I thank you very much for the reel. Now, let's take a quick look at what's going on with this reel. I'll back out just a little bit. I have a bad habit of getting too close to my reels, and then they end up out of the picture. It turns stiff, but it does turn okay. That's interesting. Okay, no, it's just okay, that's fine. All right, so it turns okay. It's a little stiff, but neither position here gives us any anti-reverse. So don't know what's going on with it yet, but I'm going to see if I can fix it. If it's one of those melted claws, I'd like for you guys to be able to see what that melted claw looks like, and we will make a spring to replace that. And if that's the case, if not, well, we'll see what else it might be. And this is, I think Dennis calls it a bang bail. I tend to call it a slam bail because it slams into this post right here, but that seems to work okay. The drag is working, but I've got no clicker on the spool. Okay, so we'll have to see what's going on with that. And let's go ahead and get this thing started. I'm going to start off by removing the handle. Okay, and it's about time to change out this cloth and get me a new one up here. All right, we got the handle removed. Let's go ahead now and remove the knob for the drag. Set that over to this side. And it's looking well greased in there. That doesn't look bad inside. That actually looks pretty good. So we'll be getting to that. We've got quite a bit of grease up under here. Okay, but now let's turn that over. Okay. There's the problem on this reel with it not having a clicker. The clicker's broke off. It's got one of these plastic style clickers that's supposed to come over and hit here. And this one isn't there anymore. So we'll have to see if we can make a new one and put it in there, because you're not going to find that part out there anywhere. So I will see what we can do to come up with a new clicker on that. I might have one on one of these old spools over here, but if not, I think we can probably make one off of a spring. Okay, let's set that to the side. Let's go ahead now, and we're going to remove these 3 screws to remove the side plate. All right, all 3 screws are the same. Let's take the side plate off. There we go. And okay, here's our anti-reverse right here. Okay, so this does not have one of those rubberized claws in the top. This is a totally different design. And what we're dealing with here is just old grease. So this is one we're going to be able to spray down, clean out the old grease. And no, we're not going to need to use the parts cleaner on this. There we go. We'll scrape off the old grease, get it out of there. And look at there. Now, before we put it all back together, I'll clean it more, but let's go ahead and let's check and see if we haven't taken care of our anti-reverse problem. All right, let's see which way this is going to go. That's active. Slide this in. Okay, let's see. Look at there. We have an operational anti-reverse again. So all we gotta do is finish cleaning this up, servicing it, and we'll be good to go. All right, this is very similar though to the AS450RL that I just did. And we're gonna go ahead and take out this crosswind arm, or at least that's the plan. It's all right, there's the pin out. Now we should be able to take the arm off, kind of snake it around behind over here. Yeah, these parts are pretty nasty. You know what? Probably am going to put these in the parts cleaner. Okay? Just because it's easier to get all that heavy grease to dissolve off of there. All right, there we go. Yes, sir. And yeah, this does not have that rod that goes all the way through like I was anticipating. So this part's going to be pretty simple. And I'm not going to put everything in the parts cleaner, just a little bit of it. Okay, we should be able to take the axle shaft out. There we go. And let's go ahead. And it's going to have one of these horseshoe clips that holds the rotor on. I'll take that out. And we'll take the rotor off. All right, now that's just going to need a quick WD-40 spray and scrub, and it'll be ready to go. The same with this rotor. That's all working good. I'm going to recommend at this point that anyone watching this video, to learn how to service this, do not take this bail wire off. I'm only going to do it and show it for those who have one that's damaged, needs to be replaced, or is so much dirt and grime and corrosion in it that it has to come off. If yours is working like this, do not take it apart. Simply spray it down with some WD-40 or another penetrating oil, clean it up good, and then put some real oil on it, and it's good to go. Okay, but for those who must, we're going to go ahead and take this completely apart. Okay, there we go. And let's see how the bail is slightly bent. See how it's sitting here? Its natural state is off to the side over here. So we're going to have to adjust that a little bit. There we go. That didn't take much, did it? Okay, there, that's the way it should be. And I'm thinking the screw being loose was causing the grief. Let's see if I have a nut driver for loosening that up. There we go. Now we're going to look carefully. We have the nut, and we have a star washer underneath it, locking washer. Okay, and we want to look on this side and see if there's any washer or anything up inside there, because if there is, we don't want to lose it. Okay, there's not. All right, and we've got this roller, and here's what we're going to do. We're going to set that on and that on, just like that, and we're going to spray it with a little WD-40. Move that around a little bit, and we come back in a little while and wipe that off. All that grease that's on there will just kind of slide right off. All right, that's going to bring us down to this part. Okay, we're going to remove this screw. And that should allow us to take out this plate. There we go. There we go. That reveals our spring underneath. And that spring, see, it's got tension on it. Okay, we're going to start off by removing this screw. Now we're going to gently lift this out and go ahead and release the tension off of it. There we go. And there's our spring. Now this thing is perfectly clean. It looks great inside. So we're going to take a moment to go ahead and scrub this up. And then when we come back, everything will be clean and we'll be ready to put it back together. Oh, let's go ahead and take everything apart while we're here. Keep forgetting to do these. Okay, let's go ahead and take the spring clip out of the drag. And then we're going to remove the drag washers. There we go. That gives us a leather drag washer, and it's stuck. So don't pull on these if it's sticking to it. Let's go ahead and use a razor blade to slide in between and get it unstuck. Okay, there we go. Because if you pull, it'll tear, and you don't want to tear your drag washer. There we go. It's a good leather drag washer. We'll set that over to the side along with those. Then we've got a Teflon drag washer, another Teflon drag washer, and an eared washer, and another keyed washer. All right, that's got those, and we'll clean all these parts up. And I'm going to see if I can come up with a clicker for that. I've got a box full of spools over here that I might be able to steal a part off of. So we'll see what we can do. All right, the first thing we're going to do here is work on putting this anti-reverse back in. I had to take it out because of the cleaning. And besides, I like to take things apart. So we're going to set that there. We're going to set this spring in here. Let's see, this way. Nope. Yes, goes in this way because it's going to pull this over against the gear. All right, so we're going to set this in place right here. See how I've got it set? And now we're going to set the screw in. Put it down here, set it in place, screw that down. Now notice that the spring isn't set yet. We're going to do that in just a minute. Okay, so that's that. Now let's go ahead, put a little oil on the claw. And now I'm going to come back and I'm just going to use a little safety pin that I have with a hook on it. We're going to hook the spring, bring it around, and hook it on behind the claw like that. Okay. There you go, there's our claw. And this is what was not working when we got the reel. All right, we're oiled and we're spring loaded, and we're going to, well, there's nothing you can do to get this one out of the way. This one has to go in because the lever's on the body. Okay. Next thing we're going to do is reassemble the spool. And before we do that, let's go ahead, not spool, the rotor. Before we do that, let's go ahead and take this apart here. There's our washer. Okay. And now we're going to clean this surface where that's going to ride. And yeah, you can see there was a lot of dirt left in there. WD-40 dissolved it though. All right, come over here to this piece, and it doesn't want to go in there, so we're going to pull some of the cotton off of the swab, and let's try it again. There we go. Clean up the inside, And that's going to be ready now to put back on. Some people prefer oil, some people prefer grease. I'm not really partial one to the other. Let's put our roller back in and set this off to the side here for a minute till we're ready to put it onto the arm. Now we've got this weight in here. We're going to go to the other side where this arm here goes. Okay, so we're going to need this arm. It's going to go on here like this. It's going to have this plastic piece on top, like so. And we're going to back out a little bit because you don't need to be that close to see this part. Okay, and now we've got this spring. Now the spring looks like it's pretty much symmetrical. It looks like it's the same length each way. So we're going to put one leg over here. See this little foot? Let's see. Yeah, they're both the same length. Now, this one over here's got a slightly shorter bend on it than the top one. So that's the one we're going to put into the hole over here. Okay. Set that in place. Then we're going to take this. See, this other bend on the other side is going to go into this little bitty hole right here. All right. So let's set that into that hole. And let's see what we can do here. Okay, there we go. Goes up on top like so. And then goes this plastic washer. And then goes this big screw. And right now, that arm does not have a whole lot of tension against it. Let's go ahead and put the screw in. Keep your finger over the spring if you're going to activate it. Okay, that's really smooth. Now we're going to set the cover plate back into place. Before we do, let's go ahead and put a little grease inside here where the spring is going to slide against the rotor body and this plate. Slide that up and in. It should kind of snap into place there. And we're ready to put in a screw. And it's going to be the shorter of the two that are out, so it's going to be this one. Now you should be able to flip that bail. Beautiful. We're going to go ahead, put a drop of oil here at the head. Put a drop of oil on the back side back here where it slides against the body. And we're going to come to this other side and we're going to put this piece back on. And it's going to sit right into place like that. And we're going to put that screw back in. That all fits beautifully. Now, remember we just oiled and cleaned this part. So we're going to take this off, the nut off, and we're going to take the washer off. We're going to slide this back inside like that. Put the washer back on. Put the nut on. And let's tighten it down. Now we should have a nice operational bail. And we do. All right, inside my spare parts bin, I managed to find this. And it's almost the same spool. It's slightly taller. And but what it does have is a perfectly functional clicker in it. So I'm going to take the clicker out of this one and move it over to that one. If I can get that stupid clip, man. Why couldn't they have put it in with a screw like they did that one? That would have made it too simple, wouldn't it? Okay. I'm afraid I'm going to break it trying to get that off. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut that post off because there's another one over here that can be used in a future date if necessary. And that'll allow me to do that. Okay, let me get my cutter for my Dremel. We're going to cut that off. All right, got that done. There we go. Here's our clicker cog, our clicker. Let's go ahead and take this one out. And I'm going to put this one in its place. All right, and we can test that to see if we got it right. Let's put this in. There we go. Now, let's go ahead and build up the spool with the drag system. And we're going to start off with putting a little bit of Cal's Universal drag grease on this bottom leather washer and put it down in the hole. Now we're going to put in a keyed washer, and we're going to check these two and see if they're the same thickness, and they are. So we'll just put one, doesn't matter which one, in the bottom. Next is going to go one of these Teflon washers, and they get no lubricant. Next we'll go in this eared washer. Got the two little ears, and they have to fit into these two slots right here. Okay. Then goes on the next Teflon washer, then goes in a keyed washer, and last but not least is going to be our spring clip that goes in and holds all that in place. There we go. All right, that's got that sub-assembly. At this point, it's time to go ahead and install the rotor onto the body. And I did not notice until I was in the middle of cleaning that there was a shim washer on this rotor. And I was in the middle of cleaning and suddenly it disappeared. And I have no idea where it went. But I had to go make one. So I had to actually take a smaller shim washer and use my Dremel tool and grind out the center of it to make it smooth, and then I had to sand it on each side to make sure I had no burrs or anything on it. But anyway, I now have the shim washer replaced. For a second there, I was having difficulty finding my brush for putting in my grease. It had actually fallen to the other side. So let's go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and grease this one. I usually oil where these bushings sit, but because this one, I have no idea why I decided I want to do it. I just decided I want to grease it instead of oiling it today. So I'm going to grease the pinion gear. And then we're going to set this back in to the case. And we're going to put this horseshoe clip back in. Like that. Okay, there we go. At that point, we're ready to put our main gear back in. And you can see it's had some wear a little bit. This is a brass piece. This is also a shim that goes on this piece. This is not the one that was missing. This is the other one. I actually tried putting this one on there, and it would not fit. So, I'll set that over to the side. Oh, no, that's one. This is the one that goes on there. Yeah. This is the one that goes on, like so. That was the one I tried to fit, and I had to end up making one of these to fit it. All right. Okay, we are ready at this point, where I'm going to put some oil on the shaft over here where it fits through the body, and I'm going to put a little over here on the bushing itself, which is part of the casting of the reel. And then I'm going to come back and we're going to grease the main gear. All right, we're going to set that back into place, down inside like that. Then we're going to take our axle shaft, and this is one I have gone to oiling, and I will always probably oil them from now on. A lot of people will grease them. I think it slows the reel down too much. So I'm going to slide that in now, slide it down inside, and this is where we're going to take our crosswind arm, and we're going to grease the back side of this gear where the crosswind arm is going to sit down on there. And then we're going to put a little grease on the anti-reverse cogs teeth, and then we're going to set this back down in here. Let's go ahead first and rotate this around. Let's get the gear, or there we go. That's going to bring that up forward. And let's go ahead, slide this in under the axle shaft so we can put this on like that and get it onto there. All right, now we've got to get this pin to slide through the arm into the axle shaft, and then all the way through and out the other side and into that groove. But see that groove down in there? Let's see if I can show it to you. See that groove right there? We need to put grease in that groove, because that pin's going to be sliding back and forth, thousands of times in that little groove, and it needs to be lubricated. The same groove is on this other side right here. So let's go ahead and grease that one as well. Get grease down inside that groove. There we go, because that's what the other side of this pin is going to fit into. And then we'll put a little bit on the back side of this where that's going to ride. And now we've got this in. It's on this gear, and now we're going to put this shim on. And this shim keeps that from slipping off and keeps it in line. Then we're going to take and slide this side case back on. Get it to line up. And so far it's not lining up. There we go. Had to move the anti-reverse arm because it was catching on the anti-reverse claw. And let's go ahead and put these 3 screws back in. Now we're going to slide the handle shaft back in, screw it down. I hear a little squeaking. Let's back this out a minute. And let's put some oil down into the handle. Spin that around a little bit. A little bit right here on the bottom in case that doesn't make its way all the way down. And let's put a little bit right here on this pivot. And now let's put this back in. No more squeaking. And I'll hold this tight while we snug the arm down. All right, that's nice. Let's put the cap back on the other side. Slide the spool down over the top, like that. Listen, there's our new clicker. Put the knob on. Tighten it down. Okay, there we go. There is, let's see, put it in anti-reverse. There you have the Daiwa A-130RL, right and left. That means right or left hand. It can be, handle can be used on either side. It's an RL reel, and it's a nice reel. Dennis, I thank you very much. And now that it's all serviced and done, if you'd like to have it back, I'd be more than happy to send it back to you. You just let me know, my friend. Like you, I have far more reels than I know what to do with. If you like the video, please hit the like button. If you didn't, please hit the dislike button and tell me what it is you didn't like about the video. I'll tell you what I do have. This is the final video of 2023. It's been a quick year. Young Martin's Reels started in actually December of 2021. So we have just gone over our second year. Our subscribership is a little over 1,400 people. And we're still plugging along. We got about 350 videos, somewhere around there. And love to get more people. The more the word gets out, the more people can make use of what I provide. Or not make use of what I can provide. Maybe they can give me information that I need to know. Anyway, that's Rick Stivers with Young Martin's Reels, signing out.